Well, Marvel has done it again. Amidst the madness that is the great toilet paper shortage of 2020, they have provided us ample supply for wiping our ass with the pages of New Warriors. Social distancing could not keep this title far away enough from us, and they've given us a new roster for the New Warriors. And there are two members in particular who are getting talked about more than the dumbass kids hanging out on the Florida beach for spring break. And of course, we're talking about Snowflake and Safe Space. Ugh, just look at those horrible suit designs. But we're going to be taking a deep dive into who or what these characters are, what they represent, and why. And what they can do for Marvel, good or bad, for the future of their franchise. Because as we know, all the characters are fair game for live-action adaptations. And keep in mind, Kevin Feige most likely gave the green light for this publication, as he's the head of creative content for the publication, along with the film studio and television. And the natural question from that is obviously why.
Snowflake is non-binary and goes by they, them. Snowflake has the power to generate individual crystallized snowflake-shaped shurikens. The connotations of the word snowflake in our culture right now are something fragile. And this is a character who is turning it into something sharp. Snowflake is the person who has the more offensive power, and Safe Space is the person who has the more defensive power. The idea was that they would mirror each other and complement each other.
The notion here with these two filmmakers I just mentioned, two women fronting these movies, I mean, is that going to be a very important thing for the studio going forward?
Yes.
Parody?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It absolutely is, and people have asked sometimes very directly. So is Panther a one-off in terms of inclusion and representation? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
It's the beginning. That it worked out as well as it worked out is just again encourage us to head the direction we were going to head anyway. Mm-hmm. And when you have diverse voices, you get better stories, and you get more exciting stories, and you get more surprising stories, and that is something that is very, very clear to us.
Yeah.
And here we go.
The former New Warriors team, consisting of Night Thrasher, Firestar, Rage, Speedball, Namorita, and Silhouette, are taking these young heroes under their wing. It's a roster of 5 kids, much like the former New Warriors, who have to take on the mantle of New Warriors in a world that won't let them be the heroes who they were meant to be. But for the purposes of this video, we'll focus on just one member, Snowflake, because he, she, they would probably get offended if we didn't put them first. The idea for these characters comes from the terms thrown around on the internet. Snowflake is particularly one of a more slightly negative connotation, denoting the individual as a fragile, easily offended or triggered by opinions or ideas that differ from their own. Snowflake's inspiration here is that instead of shirking away from the negative title he, she, they, embraces it and wears it proudly as their code name, badge of honor, whatever. He, she, they identifies as binary. He, she, they is a twin to Safe Space, a larger jock-type dude. Thank goodness someone has a proper pronoun on this team for the sake of better time management to get through the pronoun formalities, and we'll cover him a bit later. But for now, Snowflake, the binary, is a character who creates sharp projectiles in the form of, I can't believe it, I'm not making this up, a snowflake. A snowflake-shaped shuriken, hence the snowflake name carrying a double meaning, and serves as his, her, their offensive power. Snowflake is a cryokinetic, much like Iceman from the X-Men, who also infamously has or had an identity crisis, or for the anime folks out there, Grey Fullbuster from Fairy Tail, who almost as infamously stripped himself down to his boxers, or worse, almost unwittingly at every moment he could. The New Warriors title will come out in April, if all things go well for the comic book industry after this bug, or if this bug ever passes.